You do look like a bot. Are there's carrots on that?
Yeah, they're fucking carrots, bro.
Is
an
that
awfully
from,
odd choice.
did you get that from the Carrot Top website? Is that from his like
No.
line of apparel?
No, I wish. That'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah.
That is a great merch idea, dude.
That'd
That
be
is
incredible.
a wonderful merch, especially for somebody like Carrot Top who takes like somehow non sequitur visual items and the carrot. It's a carrot top. Wow, never mind. And he just throws it away. And then you go buy it for $19.95 at the front desk.
I
No,
saw
I didn't think of that, but I think I'm gonna tell people that now when I wear it. So
so,
people are like, what's up with the hat? It's Carrot Top merchandise.
I have terrible taste in comedy and hats.
Yeah, I saw him at McGoobies. It was a riot.
yeah. I saw there was a great TikTok about why he quit working out. First he explained why he started working out, and it had to do with basically living in Vegas and trying not to be on the party scene, just trying to focus on his stage presence. But in the downtime, he's like, oh, I'll start working out. Before you know it, you get jacked. And he's like, God, it just takes away from the funny. It's like trying to think of some other, I'm not gonna come up with a parallel on this, but it was interesting. There's someone be like, nah, it took away from me being funny. So I just run now. I'm Carrot Top. Look at me.
Well, yeah, I mean, even Rogan talks about that because Rogan, I mean, he's getting older now, but he was like super jacked, and he's like, watch any of my specials. I wear oversized, baggy clothes because otherwise, you don't want to look at a guy whose body you might be jealous of, because then you just instantly have like turned him off. Well, this guy can't be charming because he's better than me.
Yeah, comedians have to be ugly.
Yeah,
that's like a fact. Yeah.
Don't really feel like Carrot Top was ruining the ugly factor by just simply being jacked. I mean, having
he already fucking looked weird, and he made himself look like an alien when he got jacked.
Yeah,
and then he did a lot of fucking facial plastic surgery that really just did him zero favors.
I don't know if I buy this though, that all comedians have to be ugly or something.
Yeah. I think it's changing now, but I think there was a time, at least the philosophy from the comedian standpoint was like, I need to have these people look at me as less than them so that when I do anything, they'll be instantly impressed, because how could this schlub come up with anything clever? And then they do, and they wow you. And so you've lowered your standards for the audience.
It's like all right. So I don't think the guy's necessarily that attractive, but I know that women find him attractive and people find him funny. John Mulaney. And like, I listen to the guy's stuff and I'm like, that would be funny if it wasn't coming out of your face. And there's nothing against him. He's great. He's a great writer. He's got his hand in a bunch of sitcoms and cartoons and shit that I love and I watch. And he's funny. He's a funny dude. I'm just like, I could leave it.
You know what though? He's funnier now that I know he was like plagued by a nasty cocaine habit for all those years.
That's
like
fair.
now that I know he was like morally and just damaged. Just everything about him. I'm like, this is even more funny because I know it's coming from a very dark place.
Yeah, but haven't all the good ones really been in a place like that at some point in time? Not necessarily cocaine, but yeah, I feel you on that. There's another guy too. I don't know, some fucking Italian. He's got a long Italian name too. I don't fucking know what it is. Sebastian something or other.
Yeah, Melascano.
Sebastian Gabagool. So, that guy. Fucking, I think he's a handsome man. Not funny. He's not funny to me.
Well, okay.
He's not funny to me. One, because he's just not fucking funny. But two, he's handsome. It comes out of that fucking that thing, and I'm like, nah.
All right. Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, what about him?
He was a handsome guy, really handsome.
Yeah, he was a really handsome guy. You're absolutely right. I got no argument for that.
He instantly presented himself though as like, I don't know. I don't want to say gangster or urban or something, but he instantly came at you with like this thuggishness in a way that just kind of like it put it off. I don't know. I mean, shit, the guy going up there in a fucking leather jumpsuit.
That's
twice.
Fucking blown out of his face on cocaine.
No,
so high.
Makes you funny, makes you get to that pump, that juice.
There's holes in sinuses, like new holes were starting.
That's how you can ignore being in a leather jumpsuit with thousands upon thousands of watts on you. Yeah. And make it through an hour and kill it.
Yeah. Absolutely murdered it, actually, twice.
Yeah. I think that's true. I got to think that there's more. Like, I understand what you're saying. I just don't think it's all. When you say all of them, you know.
Not all, but yeah, I think he's right. Like the two people I just mentioned, I think like Mur had mentioned earlier, they present this kind of comedy that's a little bit holier than that, or like above you or above their audience sometimes, and you're just like, I don't know if I like it. I don't know. Eddie Murphy, he really didn't. He was slumming it, you know.
Okay.
He was talking about getting African bush bitches and fucking making fun of Mike Tyson and shit. Like, yeah.
Damon Wayans did that too. It's really funny. Well, not his best comedy, like his stand-up recorded special, because I don't remember the name of the one where he makes fun of OJ. That's his best. That's still an all-time great.
Well, and think about Rodney Dangerfield. Like, he could have worn a regular fitted suit and tie, but instead he wore like a baggy suit with a fucking fat tie that was always undone.
Rodney Dangerfield had nothing to do with the fact that the man was hideous.
Right.
It was definitely the gigantic suit.
But you would think somebody like that would try to plus it up, though. You know, like if you look like a bulldog, then maybe, you know, you gussy up and wear a real suit, but he didn't do that.
But see here, I think the thing here is, and then we get into the material aspect of it, like we said. So like John Mulaney seems arrogant to me. His material seems arrogant to me. Eddie Murphy, slumming it. Fucking Rodney Dangerfield, self-deprecating. That guy just shit on himself all day. It was like, sweet. I love it.
Yeah, Don Rickles was in that boat too. He only looked weird because of how he dressed.
I don't know if that's true.
I
don't know. I
mean, if we're going that route with Rodney Dangerfield, then we're giving it to Rickles.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
I just don't think there's any clothing of any style, shape, make, or model that could have made that man handsome in any capacity.
I think that Carlin looked like he was bumming money off the 3 train in Harlem all the time. And he used to do it. Later on, he was always in all black. Yeah, I get it. You know, Pryor wasn't an ugly man, but he certainly wasn't hyper attractive. Chris Rock, a little skinny, on the skinny side.
Yeah.
But see, they did him up. He was kind of like, when he did I'm gonna get you, sucker. He certainly looked a little silly in that. And then I think by that time Hollywood had Hollywooded him a little bit. I mean, he had already done SNL. You know,
Wesley, it's called money. He got some money.
He
got his teeth fixed.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what it was. It was his teeth.
I understand. That's you put me in a corner, damn it. I know what he did.
Yeah. By and large, ugly comedians are funnier. All right. Let's just stop. Let's just cut it there.
Hollywood wooded him. All right.
Hollywood wooded him. Makes sense. Checks out.
Middle class roles, everyone. 3 very attractive men who will never make it in the stand-up comedy world. I'll tell you that right now. Woo! Murr, Boxman.
I should try it once.
Open mic nights. They got a few around here.
Yeah, I'd give it a whirl.
Yeah,
I've got some bits that I've written down. If I really crafted them out, I could get you a hard 5.
Yeah. I'd fucking do that. Give me a couple G&Ts. We'll be fucking good to go.
Go ahead, Wes. Tell your penis joke.
Yeah, do it.
Hard 5 on stage and in the bedroom.
Hey. Yeah.
Christ, we bled into this with Alan's fucking carrot top hat. What were you gonna say, Murr? You had something. You had some sort of substance.
I know. Every time I have something, we completely derail it, and then I have to somehow try to like dig my way back into it, you know. But speaking of do-overs, there's no way to jump in. There's no way to jump into this, except for I was listening. I work, when you're in a profession, and like now I'm in my 40s, you got people that are just starting their careers and they're in their 20s. And I heard these guys talking about, talking about school and everything. God damn it. There's no way to fucking start this. There's no way.
They're talking about education. They're talking about college, right?
No.
Where you learn how to make carrots.
Bottom line is this. We were going back and forth. And they were like, well, what was your GPA? And I was like, I don't know, man. It was like, I don't even remember anymore. I want to say it was either somewhere like 2.6 to 3.4, but it wasn't 3.4 because that's a B average. I was at what's the lowest B average you can have? Like by the decimal point. What's the lowest?
2.6.
Okay, then it was 2.6. So I got a 2.6. Like, duh, you seem smarter than that. I was like, I am smarter than that. It's just I can't spell that. And I was like, my problem was I couldn't spell. I couldn't spell for shit. So every paper I turned in, it always got marked down. I was like, any writing assignment I did, I was guaranteed a B because words were just going to be incorrect. Like, well, why didn't you spell check it? I was like, because spell check didn't exist, fucko.
Fucking idiot.
Like, what do you mean? You type out a paper and the lines pop up. I'm like, we didn't type papers. We hand wrote all of our papers when I was in high school because we didn't have that technology yet. And this was dumbfounding them because they never had to go through the struggle of getting marked down for. You've got the content, you know what I mean? Like, you could just read past the fact that I mixed my E's and my I's up and I put a couple things backwards, or I don't know how to spell soliloquy, but I gave it my goddamnedest and you know what I mean. So I want a do-over. I would like to go back and have all of my papers regraded and adjust my GPA accordingly, because I can guarantee you I would bump that 2.6 up to a 3.6. Just like that.
With 3.6, that's fucking steep.
I swear to you, I swear it would happen.
Give you like a 3.
I think you do a 4.0. Here's what I was going to ask: if you get a do-over, okay, but you got to compete in pole vault at the high school level.
Well, pause. Can we pause real quick?
Yeah,
I'm still hung up on this. 3.6 is a big jump. That's a real big jump. Like, if you're saying that spelling is what kept you back, is what provided you the 2.6, I don't believe it, because there's way much more to spelling to get you up to that 3.6. Spelling didn't railroad you a whole fucking.
No, but okay, Alan, check this out though. What I'm saying is, if I had an A paper,
yeah,
I was already, even without turning it in, I knew it was a B because I knew words were going to be spelled wrong, and I didn't have time to go through dictionaries and check my shit.
So then you were getting C's.
So I was getting C's on things that could have been B's, and I was getting D's on things that could have been potentially B's if they could have just overlooked a few of those minor, what I call minor mistakes, because again, they weren't looking at the content of my character, as a great man once said.
It's fair.
They were looking at the color of my words.
So you were, not only were you misspelling things in English, you were misspelling things in like chemistry, but also getting all the math and everything else wrong in chemistry as well.
Okay. All right. Well,
you were like chlorine, K. L.
Think about the emotional damage that I'm taking into all these other classes, though, knowing you can mock me all you want, but knowing that, like, I applied A+ work to a writing assignment, but I got a B+ back because of something insignificant. So then I'm just walking around like, well, I'm never going to do any better anyway. So fuck it. But you're right. Chemistry, I would have failed because I had your brother sitting next to me and we were just looking at skateboard magazines with
well, pause. If you had Dewey next to you at any given point in time, you could have just asked him to spell check your shit.
No, not really. Because me and Dewey were rowing that same boat at that time, buddy.
Yeah, Dewey could spell, but didn't give a fuck about anything else.
Well, I'm just saying he could have helped the kid who can't spell out.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know their classes. Murr apparently had English at the first period all through high school, and it put him in a shit about the rest of the day.
Because of this poor spelling, I guess it would put you in a bad mood if you walked in and you're like,
set the tone, man.
Wrong. I know it's a B, soliloquies in this one.
Well, hold on. Check this out, though. I'm not so dyslexic that I can't read, but I can't read at any kind of speed. Your phone reads to you. Every book that's ever been published is now on Audible. You just go and you can just download it. And so imagine if I had technology now to apply to my educational career, 25 years ago now. So what I'm saying,
are you actually dyslexic?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
My grades should be weighted differently. And I think about how the trajectory of my life would have changed dramatically if I had to do my education through the same standard of these young
Yeah.
up and comers.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I'll get you. Now that I know that like I didn't know you were dyslexic, like I legitimately. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I learned.
Why would you know that? You don't have to feel bad for me. I've done okay.
No, I didn't. I'm just saying. Like I did now I can stop jonesing on you for just not picking up a dictionary like a regular person. And fucking learning how to spell something.
So it doesn't necessarily have to do with the fact that you wanted a do-over, just so leading up to this conversation 25 years after you graduated from high school, that you could tell these guys that you now work with, hey, I got a 3.5. You're saying your life trajectory would have been different drastically.
You should have been like, if I had spell check, I would have got 3.5, and they'd have been like, fuck off.
You should have said it's weighted. I could looked it up. It's weighted. I can
Weighted,
put
bro.
it now, and they've weighted them. I'll show you the website.
I mean, I know we want each generation's life to get slightly easier than the generation before it. I'm okay with that. But I mean, everybody gets to go to college now. Everybody. Like, I came from the last generation. You had to earn it. Like, they weren't just handing out student loans. They're like, yeah, we can give you a student loan if it was worth you putting the effort in for it, but that's not worth it for you.
Nah, they were like, here, take this money. We got you, motherfucker.
Now
Forever.
after I had gotten out of college, where you can just flat out say, no, I don't want you to tell this story, because I have word from a source that you got pretty bent out of shape about it. But I was subbing at our alma mater after I got out of college. Mur, do you know where this is going?
Nah, not yet.
Okay, I ran into a teacher that
Chrismer.
That's correct. This guy, pretty much everyone that went through this high school had him. Okay, if you went to Perryville High School at some point between, I don't know, the fucking early 70s to the early 2000s into the mid 2000s, you had him. It was a rite of passage.
We had like 8 of those.
Yeah. So
I know.
He was asking about, how I was doing, but how the job hunt was going. I was like, it's great. I'm subbing, things are really looking up here. And he was asking about, who I was hanging out with, and, anyone that he remembered. And I rattled off a few names. And I said, oh yeah, he graduated the year I got into school, so I didn't go to school with him. But do you remember Andrew Murray? He's like, yeah, Murray's that guy he was a troubled youth, wasn't he?
That's a great fucking usage. Like that was so professional. That's the kind of fucking term you put on paperwork for schools that you show to like DCS. You know what I mean? Like, that's troubled youth. Yeah,
that's the type of teacher that comes out of the woodwork. If you like get a DUI or something, it's like, yeah, he was a troubled youth. I'm not surprised he ran over that entire parade of elderly women.
Jesus Christ. Redheads.
The Lions Club were doing a marching band celebration for America, and this guy just smashed through him.
Right through him,
right through the windwards.
Before I get to his teaching style, in his class, I was put all the way in the back, right next to. Okay, I don't want to mention names. I won't do like I did the last time we had conversations about people with names. But they ended up becoming a state police officer. Classic high school bully turns into a police officer. Sat back next to him and the kid who liked to drop acid in the morning, and those two sat right next to me. And I, you know what I mean. So I had these two jawing off at each other. In fact, they got into 3 fights in one semester in his class. I'm in the back. Meanwhile, this guy's up there like fucking like Charlie Chaplin just got into the soundies like, oh, first you get arrested, then you go to jail, then you call your lawyer, get out on bail. Fucking doing some fucking Broadway musical to teach fucking civics. So yes, his is the only class I failed. Everybody else who apparently has working brains, Mr. Chrismer was the greatest man that ever lived. He used to sing song and dance and do show tunes to the fucking fuck that guy. I thought he was a decent guy, but if he thought I was a troubled youth, then why did he not at any point like pull me aside after class one day and be like, hey, bud, you all right? And I'd been like, no, I think you need to get me away from Chad and Bradley and maybe put me in the front of the class. And that way I don't have to hear him talk about LSD and him talk about punching his teeth down his throat while you do show tunes. That'd be great. That'd be swell.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fucking awful. When did you graduate high school, Mark?
97.
Yeah. So I was going to say, that story sounded somewhat like stories I've heard my brothers tell. And all it really taught me was that high school in the 90s was wild. Like it really was like the last fucking generation, that last decade of high school for American youth that wasn't like fucking the beginnings of Facebook and like mayhem.
I'd say of like just a shade over half of my high school career was in the 90s. Take that for what it's worth.
No, it's Kelly started in like 98, and I'm always like, you old as shit.
Yeah.
Well, check this out. I'm so old that we stopped class to watch the O.J. Simpson verdict.
Damn.
Yeah,
I don't think we did that one.
Yeah, they wheeled out of television in middle school for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's not exactly the age group you should be doing that with. I also had a one arm. Was Ulf Grabowski still there when you were going?
Yeah,
there,
he
Wes?
was there. Sure.
Ulf Grabowski. A lot of rumors, none which he squashed, about how he lost his arm. He was a German man that was, around that age, and he was very argumentative with the class. And I believe the only reason he was allowed to be a German teacher is because he was actually German and once lived in the country and spoke fluently. I don't think there was any teacher credentials with that guy.
Yeah, you speak German and English, bilingual? How well? Good enough. Yeah, okay, good for us. Get it. Sign in here.
Schnitzel.
Welcome to the team. So you want to be able to do it all over again, kind of a la Rodney Dangerfield style, and
back to school.
Prove that you could get a 3. I mean, yeah, I have no doubts that you could get a 4.0 or higher.
Oh, now I could. Now, if you took this guy and put him in that class, then yeah,
You're saying that kid in today's technology?
Yes.
Okay.
Then I would have excelled much more than I did.
I don't know, man. You just would have found more ways to dick off, be troubled youth.
That's kind of what I feel like. I feel like
you might not be wrong, but we'll never know. And I think that's the thing I'm struggling with.
Look, man, I consider myself a pretty intelligent guy, and I did all right. I was like, I think like 3 or some shit. But either way, like, do you know how much work, like how much not cool you have to be to fucking get a 4.0 in college, in fucking high school, anything?
I had
like,
a 3.7.
You have to fucking, yeah. And he kind of sucked. Like, you see? Like, and he didn't even get there.
Being smart and getting good grades is fucking dumb.
Hey, I'm smart and I got good grades. It's fine with me.
This shit's corny.
I'm just saying, like, think about all the people that got 4.0s.
Yeah. Hey,
are you cool with that? Do you want to hang out with them?
The one's coming up in a bit here in a minute.
Oh, that guy?
yeah.
Oh, he's all right, I guess.
I'll tell you what, our legal counsel, it might be the most impressive friend we have.
That's
considering
my legal counsel friend is like that too, surprisingly. So I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Considering his accomplishments. And I always think about this, like, wait, he was there fucking up and doing shit with me. Mm-hmm. How did he do that too?
All types of crazy shit.
It's like he fucking has like his brain, like, like there's people like they have like the left side and the right side, and they're completely like disconnected from each other. It's like he was running a separate program while his other operating system was working.
Yeah, man. It's absolutely wild. Like mine got shit faced and crowd surfed at Ozfest and lost his wallet, and we almost got stranded in Virginia. And now he's him.
Yeah.
Now he does legal stuff.
And I like how you say mine, as in like he's mine.
He's my personal one. Yeah, it's just me. No, he's our crew's actually. He's got a stable of basically free legal work that he's got to give out.
No. Wow. Well,
but like you guys, right? Yeah, he's got you got one too.
And all of our listeners coming up next here on the Middle Class Holes, we got our legal counsel asking for a friend. Stick around.
Like a warm, creamy chutney, get ready for another spoonful of the Middle Class Holes.
Welcome back to the Middle Class Holes, Murr, Allen, and Foxman. Folks, it's been a while. It's been a hot minute, and a hot minute's a sliding scale, so that means I don't know actually how long it's been since we've had our legal counsel on from the Big Apple, and he's not a fan of him, but home of the first place by a long shot, New York Yankees, Mr. Adam Calvert. Adam, thank you for joining us, and hey, have you caught any O's lately? Have you caught any of the magic?
I am like kind of ready. I'm ready. I mean, nice stretch. I mean,
A nice stretch. 9 games. That's a little more than a stretch.
10. 10.
Is it 10 now?
Yeah, it's 10.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a loaded division.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to play perfect.
Well, you realize if we come in 3rd place in the AL East, we make the wild card.
Might make that wild card. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Anywho, enough about baseball and America's pastime and blah, 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 blah. Adam, we got you on for a very specific reason. We hit you with some articles and we want to know your advice or how you handle things or how things may play out for these assholes who wound up in these wild predicaments. Murr, take it away with some of these stories.
Let's get to it. Asking for a friend. Now, I know you've already perused most of these articles, but just to rehash some of the stuff that we've actually talked about on the show, there's a Walmart out in Tucson, Arizona, who has been arresting shoppers for making mistakes at the self-checkout registers. I'm not going to go through all of the stories, but there's some people who seem to think that they just made honest mistakes, yet then they're being taken into the dark shadows of the underbelly of a Walmart, only to wait for a sheriff's department to come and either arrest them or give them a citation, and at the very least, send them off to a nice fancy-dancy court date. What are the rules? What's considered shoplifting? Can there be negligence? Is this an opportunity to open up a whole new can of worms for some of these establishments that don't have actual employees? Because I'm not a trained register technician. So what if I do make a mistake? Should I be held accountable to the full extent of the law?
Yeah, this is kind of interesting to me because I just assumed, this happens all the time, right? I mean, in the self-checkout, and you would think like a quarter of the population would have been arrested for this by now. And did a little more digging into it, and it's so strictly legally speaking, in order to shoplift, you have to have intent. You have to intend to steal the thing. Accidentally have it in your pocket, or forget to scan it. There's no intent there. And if somebody from the store were to stop you and say, "Hey, you didn't pay for that," and you ran off or whatever, then you showed your intent then. But I don't think that's what's going on here. This is sort of a strange situation in that it seems like the stores are stopping the people and then they bring them back into the back room and get them to sign this waiver, basically admitting guilt, just so that they get a citation so they can leave. And that seems to be what's happening from what I've read after reading that initial article about it.
Well, obviously, some people are going to be bullshitting. There are some people that are like, I'll just pretend I've scanned this. I've thought about doing it, but it's not even, I don't know if it's my conscience that gets the better of me. I think I'm just the guys, I'm going to get called. Somebody's going to stop me. I'm not doing that for this, beach ball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't do it. And generally speaking, I'm a fairly honest person. But if they allow people to get away with this, let's say if you have 10 items, you're allowed to miss one. Like, wouldn't everybody just start doing that and just claim ignorance?
Well, yeah, I guess that's the argument. Again, I said you have to show intent, right? So how are you going to say, well, you intended to steal that? And you have to look at the tape, maybe like see the person grab the item, kind of think about putting it on the scanner and look around a little bit and then put it down somewhere, put it in the bag.
I think grocery stores are going to start hiring intent arbitrators and be like, I don't know. I can tell intent from a mile away. This looks very intentional.
Yeah, I mean, how do you show something like that, right? How do you tell the difference between somebody who's trying to take something and somebody who accidentally did it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, because I would say the criminal is going to be better at just poker facing it and doing it on purpose. And I don't know, like if I miss it, I miss it. I mean, I can imagine it's had to have happened inadvertently. And I know that they have the cameras like right on there and there's dudes that sit in the back and just stare at those things every time people go through. And And I know I'm such a nervous Nelly. I know I look like a shady motherfucker when I'm checking out because I'm always like, ooh, boop. I over exaggerate all of my movements, but I also don't trust the people at the real registers to be as efficient as me. So I always go to self checkout. Should there be a rule? The problem I have with this is that people that work at the stores are legitimately trained and paid by the hour to be trained to operate these machines. And then all of a sudden, Walmart out of nowhere was just like, do it damn self. Good luck. See you later. Like, so should the self checkouts, I know this is an illegal question, should they be discounted and because you're the one doing the work? And if they are discounted, then you should be held accountable. Because what my point is like, you're not trained on this machine. So therefore, if you make a mistake, there should be a grace on it.
I don't know. I mean, I think that if you're not smart enough to use the self-checkout machine, you probably shouldn't have been able to drive yourself to the Walmart in the first place.
What he said.
Yeah.
All of that.
Here's the problem I have with it is that, and you had mentioned this earlier, that they're taking people to the back and having them sign a waiver. Okay, could you later on then claim like I had no idea what they had me signing? Like I wasn't. They didn't make it crystal clear. It was basically it wasn't explained to me in fact matter of fact situation that I was admitting that I stole. It was basically just I don't know, sign this, blah 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 blah, and that's that.
Well, that's a really sort of fact by, or I guess case by case basis. I mean, if you signed something, it's presumed that you understood what you were signing. You could show that you were under duress, or they lied to you, used undue influence, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of, it's just like a contract.
Yeah.
You get out of the contract, somebody lied to you about, it's in there.
Does the same intention type of argument or debate, or I guess like scale, work with counterfeit money?
Well, so you inadvertently had counterfeit money in your wallet and tried to use it?
Yeah.
No, because see, there are some crimes that are not intent-based. I mean, usually criminal activities is intent-based. We don't want to punish people criminally for something that they did by mistake, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what civil court's for. But certain crimes, like drug possession, for instance, is not intent-based. You got drugs on you, it doesn't matter if you knew you had them, didn't know you had them, they're on you, you're guilty of possession. But that charge is just possession, right? So I guess maybe trying to use the counterfeit money if they could prove that you knew it was counterfeit,
mm-hmm.
right? Like somebody says, oh, that's counterfeit, and you're like, oh, give me that, and you go to another store and try to use it. Okay, then yeah, sure. But if you just happen to have it and try to use it, and you didn't know it was counterfeit, I would say no.
And with that said, because like you thought you had, let's say it was a $100 bill. So you're out $100 no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like where'd you get that $100 bill from? You got to go back to where you got that 100 from.
Yeah, it's like you can go back to like a bank or something if you got it from a bank, but yeah, that wouldn't happen.
God, that sucks.
Blackjack
so
table.
Bad.
Blackjack table in Delaware, Dover
that
Downs.
didn't happen either.
I got it from the guy. We were shooting dice down on the corner. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Seemed legit.
So, what do these people potentially face in the courtroom? Like, what kind of court are they going to go to? Are they going to have is it going to be a jury? Are they just going to be standing in front of a judge? And then, if they are to talk their way out of any kind of citation, like, how do they do it?
Well, it's interesting. So that you sent me this story, because about a month ago, I handled and won my one and only criminal case as a lawyer. Helped a buddy out, did him a solid. And anyway, so I was sitting in the courtroom, and there was another case going on. It was a public defender up there, and she had this guy, and I guess he was in a store where they have the food out, and you get it weighed by the pound and all that. And they arrested him and charged him with stealing it before he even left the store. And she was trying to get the case dismissed. I'm like, oh, yeah, right? I mean, he didn't even leave the store with it, right? I mean, how are they going to show that he intended to steal it? He hadn't left the store. And they didn't dismiss the charges. So then they pled down to a, basically like probation. It gets dismissed after a certain amount of time if you don't do anything wrong.
Wow. Well, okay. How about this one? Asking for a friend. What if you have a hand of bananas and you gently pull up on the bananas while you're weighing them on the machine, but you're really good at it where you can kind of static hold it with taking just a few, maybe an ounce or two off of there. Like, is that a crime?
Like some Indiana Jones type stuff where you're switching the idol for the
Yeah,
sandbag.
Yeah.
You're legitimately weighing the item, but you're also gently pulling up on the item as it's weighed until it balances perfectly, sort of in the air, but still touching, making a 1.5 pounds of bananas look like about a pound of bananas.
Well, then you stole a half pound of bananas.
Yeah.
I know. Just a friend of mine still have a pound of bananas.
I think
Every time he weighed them for the last 10 years.
I think I got a good idea about the legal ramifications of this person in the story. She gets, tried and found guilty. Community service. She has to work at that store and do checkout.
Not bad.
Not bad. Like,
Fuck,
I should be a fucking
fuck,
judge, dude.
I might just be like, you know what? Send me to fucking 6 weeks of jail or whatever. That sounds better than fucking cashiering at Walmart. Let's
Make sure you go down her lane. You get a few things for free.
That's right.
That's right. These organic? Yep. All right, not today. Regular.
All right. Well, moving on to the great state of Missouri. Now, this one we're going to need, I think, a lot of counsel on because a woman says she caught an STD in a car and the auto insurance policy is going to have to pay out $5.2 million. So in Kansas City, Missouri, the Court of Appeals has affirmed that an insurance company must pay $5.2 million in settlement granted to a Jackson County woman who claims she unwittingly caught a sexually transmitted disease from her former romantic partner in his car. In an opinion issued, the 3-judge panel found that the Geico, they're going to have to pay this cash. I don't understand how she caught an STD. According to the court papers, the woman identified as monetary damages for catching HPV, the human papillomavirus, from an insured member in his automobile. She contended that the man caused her to be infected with the STD despite being aware of his condition and risks of unprotected sex. You're gonna have to explain this to me. Can you give us the Cliff's Notes and why Geico has to pay for an STD?
Yeah. So all right, this is kind of similar to what I do a bit. And I can tell you that
You do STD law? Wow.
yeah, that's my specialty. Yeah.
Interesting.
STS Squire.
Nice. Like
No, wait, maybe. I'll work on it. I'm workshopping.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so all right, let me start at the beginning. When you get sued, the guy got sued for giving the woman the STD in his car. He got sued, and what happens is when you get sued, you put your insurance, any insurance you might have on notice. You tell them, I got sued, right? So Geico knows, this guy whose car we insure got sued, and they said, no, we're not going to cover you. We're not going to settle your case. We're not going to pay for your attorney. You're not going to do that sort of stuff like the insurance would normally do if you got in a car accident, right? And got sued. So then separately, the man who gave the woman the STD and the woman went to an arbitration. The arbitrator awarded her this $5.2 million. Now the guy's on the hook for $5.2 million, and then after that, there's another lawsuit that basically says that Geico has to cover this guy for giving this woman the STD, and now Geico is on the hook for the $5.2 million.
Okay, pause for just 1 second here because I think it just all clicked in my head. And the reason I was so confused reading the story is so they actually had sex, but they had sex in the car.
Correct.
And so she caught an STD from him, but where they did the deed was in his automobile. And so that is why she's able to sue his auto insurance company for a sexually transmitted disease.
Well, she technically sues him, and then his auto insurance company says, okay, we're going to cover you. We're going to defend you. We're going to pay for it. So if you get in a car accident, right, and you get sued, your insurance pays for your lawyer. They pay to settle the case or any verdict or whatever, right? And the thing that's going on here is it's really an insurance coverage dispute. I mean, it's like a sexy issue, but a boring sort of legal issue. It's whether this insurance policy says that it would cover giving somebody an STD inside your car.
It makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you have a homeowner's policy, I think this is the easiest way to think of it. You have a homeowner's policy and something happens to somebody while they're in your home, oftentimes the homeowner's policy will cover you. I've defended lots of people who got in fights with their neighbors under their homeowner's policy. Like their insurance company hires me to defend them. Similar sort of thing here. It just happens to be in a car instead of in a home.
I guess I guess I just can't wrap my head around the fact that this isn't it's not a motor vehicle like incident. You know what I mean? Like it just happens to be like the housing compartment that they utilize to do some dirty, nasty shit.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
so just because they were in the proximity of this thing, this object that has an insurance policy on it, that company, like I almost feel like, believe me, I've never felt bad for an insurance company in my life, but somehow I feel kind of bad for Geico.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to, right? I mean, but now, granted, I didn't read the entire insurance policy for this, but what had to have happened was that the court looked at the policy and the way you interpret an insurance policy. And one, I will say that the courts always try to give the person coverage. You have to interpret it broadly. So if you want to exclude something on an insurance policy, you got to be really explicit about it. You got to be really careful about how you word things to make it, you don't want to make it too broad, or else stuff like this happens. And I think that's what happened here, is that the wording in the policy was just too broad. And it's like, well, you know, if you read that, that covers this. I mean, it doesn't say, you know, inflicted by the automobile itself or something like that. It's just, I think it said something like, I can pull it up here, but.
Well, that's just ridiculous because like millions of Americans have this. Okay.
Like acquired some kind of injury, but it's not specific. It's not like, hey, you know, broke your leg in a fucking T-bone accident. No, it's just like, oh, she did kind of acquire something, and it didn't hurt her. And well,
I'll be perfectly honest. Like, this can be a little graphic, but I thought maybe he spilled some mayo on the passenger seat.
Yeah, it's just some toxic, like some super toxic sperm, and she fucking rubbed up against it with a short skirt or something like that. So.
Yeah, that's honestly 100% what I thought happened, and because it was a part of the car at the time.
Who's the here?
I think where did you say, Calvert? You said it's a really boring issue, but like a sexy headline, and that's exactly what the fuck it is. Like,
Yeah.
It's boring as shit. But now that we know exactly how it happened,
So
it's just it was the way they worded it. They got us.
In comes my middle class question. So does the guy's premiums go up after this, or
That motherfucker's dropped, bro.
Yeah.
He better call the general. It's a fucking wrap at Geico. It's over. I'll answer that one for you.
You ever give somebody HPV in the back of your CEO car? Call the general.
Right?
So it's like the there's like the progressive things that like track how you drive. You know, they track like if this guy's having unprotected sex or not. It spits condoms out at him anytime a woman gets in the car.
But, okay. Yeah, Wes.
I was gonna say, like, I just looked up how many millions of Americans have this very common thing, and she 5.2 million. Damn.
Yeah.
Her lawyer's good.
Damn straight, man. Because how does she specifically know? It's her boyfriend. I'm assuming this ain't their first rodeo. So how does she know that it was contracted specifically in the car?
Yeah, that one was pretty interesting to me. If there's any way you could actually prove that, I find the whole thing kind of.
I don't know. Maybe hold on. I got a theory. Maybe she's a porn star and she gets tested like weekly because that's a thing.
That's or maybe he can only get aroused inside of a automobile.
She tested fucking, before going on set.
Right.
Good to go. Went, shagged in the fucking Honda. Bam, HPV.
This happened in Jackson County, Missouri. Now, I know we live in 2022 and porn doesn't necessarily need to be shot in Los Angeles, but I don't know. I'm not sure recognizing Jackson County, Missouri as a hotbed for porn, but it could be plausible.
You don't know how cheap the film industry is in fucking Missouri.
Yeah,
right?
It's like Hollywood. They always go up to like Vancouver, right? You know, the porn industry, they go out to Jackson County, Missouri.
You're right. You're right. They have loose insurance laws there for porn shooting.
It's very true.
Yeah, obviously we know that.
Yeah.
All right. So, any chance of appeals or anything like that? I mean, I guess there's always a chance of appeals and everything, but is this going to stick?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely they're gonna pursue this. There's one thing that
Now, this one,
insurance company
this one,
or
this one's gonna
industry
burn.
folks hate. Yeah, yeah, they hate getting bad precedent, right? Because now in the future, it's like, well, what isn't covered, right?
Yeah, every other dick bag gets to be like, hey, fucking Geico suckers, they fucking did it, so pay me.
Is having sex in a car illegal if you're caught? Just flat out fornication.
This depends on where the car's parked, right?
How about a driveway? Not in a garage, but a driveway.
Is it your house?
I was going to say, can it be seen from the street?
Yeah,
Somebody walking by.
I suppose. Yeah.
I don't know. That's actually a good question. I think that's probably more of a state by state.
Okay.
Well, I know that you're not required to have any kind of curtains or blinds covering your windows. So if you walk around naked in your house and someone sees you, that's on them and not on you.
And when I drive to the Sours past your house, I really don't appreciate that law. I almost ran off the road last time.
Oh, yeah, you can see that thing from a distance, baby. I'm proud of that. All right, and our last story tonight, now this does come from across the pond, but I feel like it's slightly universal. A British court has ruled that calling a man bald is a form of sexual harassment. Since hair loss is more common amongst men than women, the 3-judge panel opined that calling a man bald in the workplace is a form of discrimination comparable to commenting on the size of a woman's breast. The judges made the ruling in a case involving a seasoned electrician, yada, yada, yada. He'd been working as a manufacturer for 24 years when he was fired in May. And basically, I guess they were sitting down. They were having the conversation about him losing his job. And he described him as, you're just an old bald man, blah, 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 blah. So he took it to court and he won. So would this fly in an American court? I feel like bald is the last physical ailment that is fair game for the world to mock. You can't fat shame anymore. You can't body shame in any capacity except for the loss of a man's hair. So would this fly in any other way in America besides sexual discrimination, or could it fly as sexual discrimination in America?
I think that if this was America, I think there'd have to be a little more going on here than just one isolated comment. I mean, so I don't know if you guys do at your jobs, but every year at my job, I have to watch the workplace sexual harassment training video and take a little quiz and all that stuff, right?
Those are the fucking worst. Hey, Jane, would you like to go out for dinner? No. Hey, Jane, would you like to come back to my place and have sex? No. Which one was appropriate?
In my car. We'll just park in the driveway.
Here's my lease and STD record clean. You can have sex in my car.
To answer your question, so in America we have two kinds of sexual harassment. One's quid pro quo, something for something. So that's not applicable. The other kind is hostile work environment, and usually with that you have to show that there's some sort of pervasive atmosphere of harassment, right? So I think that maybe like one isolated comment, particularly when it's about baldness, which is sort of a gray area in the sexual harassment thing. I don't think that would be enough. I think there's probably more going on here, and maybe news people are just grabbing the headline, or maybe they just do things really weird over in the UK and don't like being called baldies. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not obviously a lawyer, but I do know that I watch a lot of English things, and I have learned through watching lots of English things that they will fucking prosecute your ass for saying literally anything. Like at soccer games, like motherfucker didn't even say anything. He threw a banana peel at a black player, fucking charged. Mm-hmm. Like they do not fuck around with shit like that. So it is not surprising that somebody was like, yeah, you can't be calling baldies. It's fucking rude.
Yeah.
Look at him. You're emasculating him. He already has no hair.
I think too, the thing that we all forget here in America is that other countries don't have that thing that we like to call freedom of speech. Like, even though they're a very, like, modern society, like, speech is not protected in like the UK and Canada and places like that. So maybe it holds a little more weight when it's quote unquote offensive to the individual.
Yeah. But it's not that it's not protected. It's just that they were like, they've decided as a society, they're like, don't be a fucking dick. Don't call people the N-word. It's fucking rude.
Well,
Like,
I think that's the
you know what
difference
I'm
here,
saying?
though. Is like even bad speech is protected in America. So if you say something nasty to somebody, like, you can't go to jail for it. You're just you're a dick.
But you can call him like a cocksucker or a cunt. You can call him a cunt all day. You just can't be fucking, throwing around hate words.
I'd like to see what the judge looked like in this case, right? I
No, they had wigs. They definitely had wigs.
I know, but underneath, like, right? I mean, is he bald? Is he?
Oh, true.
I
Good
see.
point. I mean, at least one of them is, right? That's got like the statistics. I don't know what the statistics are. I'm just fucking making them up at this point. But one of them motherfuckers is bald.
But, I think the interesting thing about this is that they said that it could be harassment because it's a predominantly male affliction. First of all, there are women who go bald. There are plenty of women who go bald, right?
But not. I would say. I mean, I don't have like any science in front of me or anything. But like, I would say, out of 100, like, you're gonna get 50 men and 1 woman.
Okay. Well, it's not like there's 2 bald women in the world, right?
No.
So I find that to be a bit sexist, right? that whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can play around with this all day, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Just stereotyping what sort of comments about somebody are appropriate or inappropriate just because of their gender or anything like that.
Well, as a bald man myself,
Mhm.
all I can say is I do find a lot of these commercials hurtful and painful.
You're bald?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact. I mean, I'm not like cue bald, but okay, here you go. When people see my head, they're like, dude, why you shave your head? You just let it grow out. I'm like, no, because I'm the guy that if he let his hair grow out, you'd be like, man, you should shave your head. It's a catch-22. I can't win. But it's funny, though, that it seems like baldness is like the only like non-medically threatening ailment that someone can suffer now that you can be shamed for. Like, there is a multi-billion-dollar market. Like, you've got that Keeps place online now where you can like talk to a doctor online and they'll prescribe you like hair growing medication. The Rogaine industry's been out there forever. I got to watch all of these Hispanic barbers do really cool fucking fade jobs that I'm not allowed to have anymore. It's fucking offensive. So I understand, and I'm glad this man won his case.
It's offensive.
All right. I got a hypothetical for you. What if it was an older guy had erectile dysfunction? You called him a limp dick motherfucker or something like that.
That's just funny. I don't know.
Right?
I think funny,
sexual
funny.
harassment.
That is
making fun of a predominantly male problem, right? It's a sexual nature.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you're probably sooner or later.
Yeah,
That's going to become
fair.
a thing.
Because
yeah.
if I was like, damn it, Sandy, you got this dry ass vagina, I would definitely get fired immediately.
Yeah. Or all right, another one. All right, so remember the guy in Fight? You remember the guy in Fight Club, Bob, who had the tits? Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Meatloaf. God rest his soul.
Oh yeah, Meatloaf. Yeah. All right. So is it okay to make fun of him because he's a man with a predominantly female condition? So it's like kind of the opposite of this whole bald scenario. It's like, oh well, men don't have that, so I can make fun of that.
I think
It's not a predominantly male condition.
I think hilarious trumps. Yeah, because they're an anomaly. Yes, because they're an anomaly. You're not necessarily. It's not sexual in nature because you're calling out the anomaly on that person. So
Yeah.
it's not sexual.
I was told by a stripper in Atlantic City that I had a juicy cock. I don't even know what the hell that means.
What the fuck?
That's sexist, if you ask me.
That means your bank account's $200 shorter.
I think you might have told on yourself.
Thought I've said that in the show before. Whatever. Long time ago. It's like over 10 years ago. My pants were on. My pants were on. So there's no way she would have really known if I had a
Yeah.
moist or,
Good for you then, bud.
And on that note, I believe that wraps up asking for a friend. And by the way, before you came on, we were in fact singing your praises there, Mr. Calvert, because what we don't understand is how fucked up our lifestyles were, especially in our youth. And we ended up here and you ended up there. And we're just we're continuously impressed with your ability to succeed through debauchery. So well done, sir.
Oh, well, that's very nice of you to say. Thank you, guys.
I think Alan said people with that high a GPA suffered and didn't have any fun. Something like that. What was it?
No, I didn't have any fun. I said that most of them just, didn't get to enjoy it to the extent that maybe you and I did.
Right.
Oh, my GPA was terrible.
Yeah. See? Not a 4.0, you fucking liars.
It was only after college. Well, high school was great. College was terrible.
Yeah,
And
high school.
Then I got it together in law school.
Yeah, well, you have to get it together in law school or you don't become a lawyer.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
kind of put my back against the wall there.
Yeah. I know how that shit works.
Well, for all you listeners out there asking for a friend, Adam comes on about every 4 to 6 weeks. If you have any legal inquiries, questions, or just want to figure out how the hell you need to get out of some sort of insurance scam, if you gave some woman itchy scratchy in the back of your Toyota Camry, let us know. We'll help you out. Asking for a friend, Adam, as always, we appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Shit, itchy scratchy forever.
He'll get you out of that one, too. He knows the guy. He's got cream.
We aren't doctors, but we'd love to take a look at some more of the middle class holes.
Well, thank you, Adam. Middle Class Holes, back at you. Asking for a friend. Fun as always. I enjoy him coming on. We got to do that a little more often. We got to get some people. Once we get a goddamn following, they need to say, like, hey, man, look, that STD in the car in Jackson, Missouri inspired me. And I need to, under the radar, asking for a friend. I have a question for you. And it doesn't even have to be legal, I cheated on my wife.
Only
What should I do?
5 more years and we should be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge people to take instances from their youth, whether they got caught or didn't get caught, and figure out what the legal ramifications would have been. I mean, that's generally our life stories.
Yeah. Well, that segues into one of our other favorite bits, Fun Fact Friday.
That's right, my friends. Time to learn yourself some useless knowledge. Time for some fun facts, brought to you by, of course, the Shin Splints Recovery Group. If you have some pain below that knee and above that ankle and you want some like-minded morons to just share in your misery and just your current dilemma, find the Shin Splints Recovery Group right now on Facebook. Let's get to it. OMG facts. Did you know? Combined, American children spend 6.3 billion hours a year coloring with crayons.
Damn. That's crazy.
I know it's a similar number to American males, or not even males, excuse me. But previously, we talked about predominantly American people on fantasy football. But, so I think if you get a collective group doing one thing like that, you're going to get billions upon billions of hours.
Yeah, that's true. It's just, but you would think that, I don't know, all of the things from like bygone eras that have just gone away, you know, crayons still stand firm. And by the way, Crayola, just as a parent, that has been cheap and bought like the Rayola crayons just to save a couple nickels. There is an extreme difference. The quality of a Crayola crayon is absolutely superior to any other waxy fucking coloring product that exists in the world.
So you said 6.3 billion coloring, right?
6.3 billion hours a year coloring.
What do you think the tally is on eating said crowns by the kids? A couple hundred?
I honestly believe that Crayola has reformulated their crayons because, one, they're smoother, and two, they don't have that scent. Because smell makes you want to taste it, right?
Right.
And there used to be like this musty, does that make sense? Like this musty odor that came from the box.
Are you making, is this like another, like, if I could have done it all over again, I wouldn't eat in crowns? Isn't that, now you're making a case for, well, they were so decadent. They smelled
First of
so
all,
lovely. They smelled so lovely.
I don't even know what the product you're talking about is, because they're called crayons. They're not called crowns.
That's fucking facts.
Crayons. I roll over the Y in it. Crayon.
No, you're not the only one.
Crayon.
It's not just a you thing.
Crayon.
But
Crayon.
people like you need to learn how to enunciate.
Yeah, it bothers me.
What do you mean people like me? What do you
You say crowns because there's crowns are something to go on your fucking head. Not something to color
Crayon.
with.
Okay, how many fucking okay, Mer, continue. About you telling us how you ate crayons as a youth.
There you go.
You know what's odd about that statement is the only reason I ever snipped the tip off of a crayon is because I heard people talking about like, oh, that kid's a moron, he eats crayons. I'm like, oh, well, maybe they're delicious.
Maybe he's onto something.
So I was like, let me try one. And then I'm like, this is terrible. And I spit it out. The glue, same deal. Smells like peppermint. Maybe it is delicious. I tried it. It's actually not
I
bad.
was gonna say, so I definitely gave a teeny tiny snippet of a crayon once, and spat it out, but it never dabbled in the glue game.
I just tasted the glue. The glue actually tasted like the paste, not the glue. You know, like kids today probably don't even know what the paste actually is, but like it had like a minty, almost like a wintergreeny kind of smell, and then it kind of had that taste too. But it was a very terrible consistency, so I wouldn't recommend that. It's like cottage. It was like a runny cottage cheese. That was the texture.
Yeah, this guy said 3-6. Remember that. Let's talk about eating paste. This fucking guy.
This wasn't a compulsion. This was a curiosity based on. It's kind of like the Tide Pod challenge that we were talking about a couple weeks ago, where how many people actually ate them, and then the people that did eat them. Did they eat them because it was the challenge, or did they eat them because the nightly news talked about it? The only reason I ever ate any glue was because in the movies, I was like, yeah, that kid's got something wrong with him. I saw him eating a jar of paste the other day. I'm like, ooh, well, I try some paste. Maybe it's good. Same thing. Dick.
I think it's even weirder that you saw like a film where they were definitely like, look at the fucking weird kid eating paste. And you were like, I'm going to try paste. Paste, that sounds like a good idea. Like, it did not even fucking register that you're now the weird kid.
At least I don't say crowns.
That's
right?
fair. That's perfectly fine.
Did you know Minnesota has 90,000 miles of shoreline, more than California, Florida, and Hawaii combined?
I did know that. That I did know. I thought it was Alaska. Was the third one, Florida and California, but maybe I was wrong about that. But Hawaii,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
sure Alaska has the most coastline of any U.S. state.
Yes, but this has more than those three states combined, and it's all what was it? The land of 1,000 lakes. That's Minnesota.
10,000.
Yeah. 10,000 lakes. I believe.
Holy shit!
Yeah, when you fly into Minneapolis, take a gander down. It's fucking wild. Jesus.
Yeah, it doesn't look like people live there because it's just water.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
It's
pretty cool.
And it's, I mean, you think about square mileage of the state, you're talking about what, probably the fifth largest state in the union. So you have Alaska, Texas, California. Probably, I would say Florida has more square mileage. And then after that, it's a toss up.
Minnesota?
Yeah, would be my guess. Well, they may fall shy of like New Mexico. I don't know. There's big square states down in the Southwest. Those fuckers are big.
Alaska, Texas, California, Montana, New Mexico. This is the top 10, just so you know.
Yeah.
Alaska, Texas, California, Montana, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Oregon, and Wyoming.
No, they're not even the top 10. Wow.
Those are the top 10.
Oregon has more square mileage than Minnesota. I guess it's just because it's also long. You know,
It's just, yeah.
yeah, that doesn't mean it's
deceiving.
thin.
It's deceiving.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
with all that water, there's no land. So,
Yeah.
But it's also bullshit because it's like 90,000 miles of shoreline that you will not enjoy because it's 4 degrees outside and your balls will freeze if you try to get in that water.
90,000 miles of fucking lake fucking grime water. Have fun.
Well, it does border Superior for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get fucking go swimming and get like touched by fucking seaweed and feel like you're about to get drowned by a sea monster.
It's
Great. Lakes are great. I hate lakes, guys.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with you.
We've talked
Water.
about this lake fear that you guys have. I don't know. You guys.
Oh, we can categorize the fears. I mean, there's an ocean fear.
Whatever.
I fuck a river.
Yeah, I don't fuck with oceans. I mean, yeah, fuck a river, generally speaking. But like, they intrigue me.
Yeah, and by the way, and fuck a bay too. Like, I mean, that's where everything that I fear from the ocean goes to die and rot on the floor.
And then we eat it, the sweet nectar of it, which is crabs.
Yes.
Yeah. And paste.
Bad paste.
Did you know tipping is actively discouraged in New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, and Japan?
Tipping. They just want you to put the whole thing in, right?
Not that juicy, boy.
Look, I don't mind tipping, but no, tipping is it discourages me from going out and doing certain things, because then I don't like politics. Okay. And that I fear going to like India or any of these like Middle Eastern countries where you have to like, how much is this? Oh, my friend, for you, $100. Like, how about 20? How about 50? How about 30? How about 40? And like, fuck, just how much does it fucking cost? I don't want to negotiate in any capacity. So when it comes to like a waiter or a waitress, I don't want to have to do math based on their level of service either. I just don't like it.
Right.
I can't deal with it.
I guess that's fine.
Move to Singapore, bro. You'll enjoy it.
And I was like, yeah, like you can't even like smoke cigarettes there. You get your hand chopped off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Singapore's rough. No, I don't. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I will fucking straight up not tip you, but I will fucking bust you down to 10% if you're trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it takes a lot. I'm not just an easy, like, I don't do it. Like, I've fucking been a waiter. It sucks. God bless you all. But yeah, no, I've tried, I'm fine with it, but I've also been to Europe and been like, this is sweet. I can just pay this person is being paid a decent wage.
Yeah, don't a lot of those places, and I don't know about these countries included, but I do know there's some places in Europe where they pay a fairly decent hourly rate, so you don't have to do that. You're just paying for the food, and the service is good. Now, I don't know about, you said New Zealand, Singapore, Japan, and Thailand. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the case in those countries. I have heard about certain pockets in France do that's kind of a neat thing. I don't know how to categorize it as neat.
Yeah.
I know as a tourist, sometimes it's nice so you're not having to dick around with conversion rates and figuring out, oh, what do I owe? But, it's tips is a whole weird thing. And to back up what you had said, Alan, I think, you should never not tip. I've heard, and someone said, unless it's like absolutely atrocious, unless it's things like, some catastrophic thing happened, you should tip and then complain to management. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. This surfer is terrible, or this happened, because you're not quite sure. There could be miscommunication. Someone from the front may not have told the server until later on. Oh, that's your table is shit. Da-da-da-da. But man, it's like, I'd say more often than not, it's just customers being dicks.
Well, I know at least once I have tipped, and I wrote it very prominent, $0.00. Marie and I went out to dinner, and we didn't get to go out that often. We ordered steaks. We were sitting there. Our fucking waiter never fucking checked on us. Never got our steaks. Then he comes by finally, and I mean, I was doing like this shit every time. Never fucking calls attention. He comes by with that little that little movie theater vacuum cleaner thing, little dustbuster looking thing,
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, we're gonna be closing here soon. I was like, are we gonna get our food anytime soon? Then he's like, oh, I thought I brought you that. Nah, man. Then he brought it, and it had been sitting under the heat lamp for like 30 minutes. and then he had to refire it, then charged me full price for the meal. And I'm like, fuck you, Holmes.
Yeah, that deserves
It seems fair.
that deserves a 0.00. I agree with that one.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Did you know the lethal dose of caffeine for humans is 10 grams, or about 100 cups of coffee consumed in 4 hours?
100 cups consumed in 4 hours. Hold on, I'm going to do the math on this.
So what's a cup? Is a cup 8 ounces?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, I was just going to do. Hold on.
I mean, unless you're like the Waffle House where it's like 3.5 ounces
So
in the thickest ceramic cup you could fucking ever own.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're looking at a cup every 2.4 minutes. If you're doing 100 cups in 4 hours,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Alan, here's another instance.
your fucking tongue would be nothing. Unless
Well,
you're
you don't
drinking
have to
iced
get it
coffee.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be hot.
I suppose
Yeah.
maybe that's the reason. Like maybe that's why they serve it hot, so you can OD.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that Party doesn't want to try this. like a nice tub of glue.
Throw some
or
paste
a
in there.
little-
But
Throw some paste and
fuck the creamer.
start with a crayon.
Fuck the creamer.
Stir with a crown.
Fuck you guys. Damn it. We're done. We're done with that. No more.
I'm pretty sure Kelly says it that way too, and I shit on her too.
I'll edit it out from every show from here on out.
I gotta say too, man. Like, if you go to Starbucks ever, I do think Starbucks has the most bold coffee that you can get. Get the nitro brew, cold brew coffee.
Okay.
That shit will rattle your bones. I don't know how much. I don't think it takes 100 cups of that shit. I think it's about 10. Because I'm not susceptible to caffeine like most people are.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that shit will fucking. I'm a crack addict for like 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden, I just need to sleep on a dirt floor somewhere, like a crack addict.
I have had a couple instances where some of the homebrew stuff that I do, especially like I get no breakfast, so I wake up and have a cup, and I'm driving in to work and have one of those like Yetis with like 20 ounces, and I'm flying through it, and, listening to some Wu-Tang or something, and yeah, by the time I get like 5 minutes from it's about a 30-minute drive. I'm like 5 minutes out, I'm like, whoo, oh shit, I gotta get some food. Daddy's gonna be rolling in here yip yapping a bunch of bullshit.
Silly. I don't drink coffee, so
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that. Weird.
I have been
feel like
doing,
it's the one thing that makes me feel like a leper. Like people are like, "Fuck's wrong with you?" And I'm
Nah,
like, I don't
man.
know. I don't need drugs to fucking live my life. Like,
yeah, I've converted a little bit to hot tea in the morning.
Yeah.
A little hot tea with some lemon
I don't
and
do
honey.
that, but I will drink tea because I like it better than coffee.
But the reasoning isn't what you think. It's because like when I get to work, I get so busy, I forget that I've got a full cup of coffee, and then it gets cold. And cold, previously hot coffee is trash. So then, if my Lipton hot coffee gets cold, it just tastes like iced tea. So I'm like, I can go either way.
Yeah. You can go more than a tip. Get that old sucker in there.
And finally, did you know a barren plain in South Dakota is the only place in the lower 48 states that is more than 100 miles from a McDonald's?
The barren plain. Sorry, I was. One more time, barren plain, and then I heard and so.
Well, I do like, and look, you're not wrong for being somewhat confused about this. There's a barren plain in South Dakota, right?
Yeah.
So there's just a big mass of land,
Yeah.
but it's the only place in the lower 48 states that is more than 100 miles from a McDonald's.
Blam. I've been to South Dakota a lot, and I don't necessarily know if I've been to the Barren Plain, but that's the only place more than 100 miles. Like, Christ, there's some. I've driven cross country, okay, and there's definitely, and Murray, you have too, and you got to think that there's some spots, in the middle of fucking nowhere, Texas, in my travels somewhere in Wyoming. And I get it. You can't be on a major highway system without certain gas stations or service stop areas. at mileage points, for safety reasons, in case you run out of gas or you need air or whatever. But anywhere, that's the only place it's 100 miles. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, especially knowing in the era that we grew up, not to do this whole throwback thing again, but like I remember when I was a kid, there weren't that many McDonald's. Like there was only one. Haverty Grace was the only McDonald's like that we could go to.
Yeah, Northeast.
And now they're,
Northeast.
No, but before that, because that wasn't there. When I was a kid, it was Roy Rogers was across the street from where McDonald's is now, where the Walmart is, and the McDonald's wasn't there yet.
Oh, I forget that. Sorry.
So that was the only place you could go. But now I've got like 5 options, and I still live in Podunk nowhere. Just a lot of McDonald's.
Alan, what do you think, huh?
It's lucrative out there, I think you got to put McDonald's in sparsely populated places, because then people are like, well, got nothing else to do. Let's eat some McDonald's. I think it's a good strategy. I wonder what the life expectancy is around these areas. That's really it.
Well, the 4 people that live there, they've all made it to 80. So
solid, man. Not bad.
And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
Oh,
those double cheeseburgers don't fucking spoil.
Hell no.
If you just eat double cheeseburgers, I assume you don't spoil.
I haven't had McDonald's in over a year.
I think you're due.
Good.
Get some coffee. Yeah.
Well, it's just, you know what? Even when I was still eating McDonald's, it just still, they healthified it so much, man. I wish the McDonald's would take over the reins of like what Burger King's been doing. Burger King went the complete opposite. Like the original woke movement started with healthy eating, right? Where they forced McDonald's to put apple slices in Happy Meals and shit. They wouldn't let them fucking deep fry their French fries in pure beef tallow. They wouldn't let them deep fry their apple pies anymore. The chicken nuggets had to be whole, like white meat, not chicken parts that are made of fucking like sweet, delicious, greasy. We don't know what part of the bird it came from. Fucking dark meat. God, man, McDonald's used to be tasty. Now it's just, it's all right.
Yeah.
Now, was that just McDonald's? Because I feel like I stopped at a Burger King on my way down to the beach a few weeks ago and got a Whopper, and that thing was still as delicious as I remember it.
Nah, because Burger King went the other way. Burger King went crazy uncle. When McDonald's started like making their menu more healthy, Burger King said, hey, you want 3 patties on that fucking cheese melt?
Yeah,
and 5 slices of cheese? Let's do that. We'll give you 10 slices. We'll create the Baconator.
Yeah. And like that mayonnaise that they use, God, no, that's not made in house.
No,
that's outsourced. And that thing is filled with sugar. And I'm like, oh, man.
The only thing that I would say is their fries have never really been good. That's always been Burger King's Achilles heel.
Yeah.
They got better. They like double battered them, and they did get better.
Yeah. No, see, I don't like that from a fast food fry. I think it's too much. It's just far too much. But hey, to each their own. I think they're trash. But you're right. They went the opposite direction. They added extra patties to everything. The fucking like, go get a larger McDonald's and then go get a larger Burger King. We'll see what you get. You get like the straight up fucking like 86-ounce fucking like triple gulp from fucking 7-Eleven, and they're like, here you go. Here's a large fruit punch. You're like, why? This shit doesn't even fit in a cup holder, motherfuckers. Like, why are you giving me this?
Yeah, my Chevy Tahoe can't even fit this motherfucker.
yeah. They did really go the opposite way in that regard, but I kind of appreciate it sometimes with that beverage.
That's a good point,
dude. Do you remember the Big Gulp, the original Big Gulp?
Sure.
That was about the size of a regular large McDonald's soda. Now, this like the ultra Big Gulp is like it's like a carafe of liquid.
I used to. You're talking about. So they have like the cardboard cups, and then the ultra Big Gulp is plastic because it can't. Yeah. It can't withstand. Yeah, I used to fill those up with Slurpee and carry it like it was a like I filled up soda.
Soda, yeah.
Would you save 75 cents?
Something, I don't know.
Yeah, but that was back when you only had like $20.
It's
And they
right,
made that
man.
shit last.
It was like a tenth of my net worth right there on that fucking counter. And I wanted 128 ounces of sweet Coca-Cola slushy goodness.
You needed you
Mixed-
needed a cheeseburger bite.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, God.
you needed one of those.
Yeah.
Definitely needed like some chips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to call ahead, man. Like if let's just say me and some friends were hanging out at a certain location, we were chatting in a circle somewhere.
Talking about my mom's,
would go
my
inside.
mom's basement.
Potentially. And we would go inside because we didn't have cell phones, and we would call the local 7-Eleven and be like, "Look, we got a whole gaggle of folk coming down there. We're gonna need like 10 bacon cheeseburger bites, and probably a whole pizza and a bunch of taquitos."
Yeah. All the taquito. Get the fucking good ones out there. Get the fucking tacos. Get the buffalo chickens out there.
Yeah.
Fucking don't be hitting with me with this Monterey Jack and cheese shit. Fuck that shit. Get it out
Actually,
of here.
just
And we would
take the Exacto, cut it, and dump it in the roller. Just dump
Yeah.
everyone that you got.
Wherever they fall, just let it roll.
say, and if you haven't, change that cheese bag because we're gonna be down there in like 15-20 minutes. And they'd be like, "All right." And we'd show up and we'd drop probably like $50 on fucking like gas station food.
That place sold beer too. Back when 7-Elevens
Yeah.
used to sell beer. God, America was great. The 90s. Woo!
Yeah.
Alan, tell the kiddos and the kidettes where you can find the middle class holes and perhaps a 7-Eleven that sells like things like that.
I think there's a 7-Eleven on Francis Avenue in Arbutus that will probably do you good if you're in the area. But besides that, you can find us on all your favorite social media pages. We're at MDL Classholes on Instagram and Twitter. We're the Middle Class Holes on Facebook and TikTok. And of course, you can check us out for your listening pleasure on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And please don't forget to email us at tickleourtummies@gmail.com. That's right. Do we got emails this week?
I don't believe we do because I set my notifications up and I'm not seeing it. That's okay. Hey, folks, hit us up. Hit us up when you get a chance. You have busy lives. You're stuffing your face with taquitos and all this other good stuff. So,
Burger Bites.
hit Burger Bites. Hit us up. Shit, man. Middle of the summer. Enjoy yourselves. We'll catch you next week. Otherwise, take it easy.